Antibiotics save lives, but they do not act with precision. They behave like a bomb. They kill the infection, yes, but they also flatten your beneficial gut bacteria, the very microbes responsible for digestion, immunity, energy production, and inflammation control. When that bacterial network collapses, the gut wall becomes vulnerable, digestion becomes inefficient, toxins leak into circulation, and suddenly you notice fatigue that wasn't there before, bloating after meals, unexplained weight gain, food sensitivities, brain fog, and even anxiety or low mood. This is not alternative theory. Over 70% of your immune system sits in the gut, and when antibiotics induce dysbiosis, the immune system becomes depleted and the mitochondria, your cellular engines, come under stress. That is why people feel tired, inflamed, and reactive after antibiotic courses, but the good news is we can rebuild. The gut repairs quickly when given the right environment. In just 14 days, you can reestablish microbial balance, calm inflammation, restore energy output, and bring digestion back online. The method is simple and scientific. Remove irritants, add building blocks, reduce immune load, and support mitochondrial function. That means clearing processed foods and sugars that feed the wrong microbes, reintroducing diverse fiber sources, eating probiotic-rich foods, boosting polyphenols and fermented vegetables, hydrating properly, sleeping deeply, and getting daily sunlight to support circadian rhythm and vitamin D-dependent immune pathways. You also use healthy fats to fuel mitochondria and natural fermentation to reseed the gut with living organisms. This is not guesswork, this is biology. Give the body the right inputs and it heals. Over the next steps, we go through the exact foods, the timing, the supplements, the rest practices, and the simple daily habits that restore the microbiome after antibiotics and reboot your gut in as little as 2 weeks. Antibiotics do not discriminate. They are designed to kill bacteria, and they do exactly that, but without the intelligence to separate friend from foe. In the gut, we rely on trillions of commensal organisms to regulate digestion, immunity, detoxification, and energy production. When antibiotics enter the system, they wipe out harmful pathogens, yes, but they also strip away these protective species. This creates a vacuum in the microbial ecosystem. Nature hates a void, and so opportunistic species, yeasts, fungi, and resistant bacteria begin to overgrow. What follows is not simply a change in gut flora. It is metabolic chaos at a cellular and immune level when we lose beneficial bacteria. We lose the chemical messengers and metabolites they produce. Short-chain fatty acids like butyrate decline, and these are essential for nourishing the gut lining, regulating immune tolerance, and fueling colon cells. Without them, the intestinal wall becomes vulnerable. Tight junctions loosen, permeability increases, and endotox. Bacterial fragments such as lipopolysaccharides begin to leak into the bloodstream. The immune system detects these invaders and switches into overdrive. We see cytokine elevation, chronic low-grade inflammation, and an overactive but ineffective immune response. This is the biology of post-antibiotic fatigue, aches, brain fog, and heightened food reactions at the same time digestive function weakens. Beneficial microbes produce enzymes and support stomach acid regulation. When they are depleted, we break down food less efficiently. Proteins ferment, carbohydrates feed the wrong organisms, and fats become harder to emulsify. Enzyme activity drops, leading to bloating, gas, and sluggish bowels. Nutrient absorption declines, especially key micronutrients like B vitamins, magnesium, and zinc, all crucial for mitochondrial energy production and detoxification pathways. So energy falls, toxin load rises, and mitochondria begin to struggle. You feel it as tiredness, slow thinking, irritability, and sometimes even mood dips. Hormones do not escape this disruption either. The gut microbiome helps metabolize estrogen through the estrobolome, When that system collapses, estrogen recycling changes, leading to hormonal imbalance, weight gain, water retention, PMS, and mood swings in susceptible individuals. Cortisol regulation is also affected because gut bacteria influence the stress axis. That is why post-antibiotic stress sensitivity and sleep disturbance are common, and then comes immunity. Over 70% of the immune system resides in the gut. When the bacterial guardians are lost, immune surveillance weakens, making you more prone to infections, allergies, and food sensitivities. This is why some people enter a cycle. One antibiotic course leads to immune weakening, followed by more infections, followed by more antibiotics. To be very clear, antibiotics are not the enemy. They are life-saving tools. The problem lies in using them without the second half of the equation, rehabilitation. We support the body after surgery, we rehabilitate after injury, yet after antibiotic treatment, most people simply return to normal life and hope the gut will sort itself out. Biology does not work on hope. It works on inputs, fuel, and balance. If you do nothing, opportunistic microbes keep expanding, inflammation persists, nutrient depletion worsens, and energy remains suppressed. Restoration after antibiotics is not optional if you wish to return to optimal function. Think of the gut as a garden. Antibiotics pull out the weeds, but they also pull out the flowers, the soil microbes, and the foundation. If you do not replant, reseed, and feed the soil, weeds return first and choke the system. What we are doing in this 14-day reset is rebuilding the ecology, reseeding beneficial species, feeding them with the right fibers and polyphenols, tightening the gut lining, lowering immune stress, and restoring mitochondrial energy output so the system can function smoothly again. This is essential medicine, not wellness theory. When we restore microbial diversity, we restore immune intelligence, digestive efficiency, hormonal stability, and mental clarity. The body knows how to heal. We simply provide the raw materials and remove the obstacles. The goal is not merely to recover from antibiotics, it is to come back stronger, with a more resilient microbiome, balanced immunity, and a clean, efficient metabolic engine ready to protect and energize you every day. Food is the primary medicine for restoring the microbiome after antibiotics, and the gut responds remarkably fast when given the correct biochemical signals. We are rebuilding an ecosystem, and ecosystems do not repair through supplements alone, they rebuild through daily, repeated nourishment. The next 14 days are about feeding beneficial microbes, tightening the gut lining, calming inflammation, and creating a biochemical environment where healthy bacteria outcompete opportunistic species. This requires precision. We remove what irritates, and we supply what heals. When you do that, the body moves toward health because biology always favors balance. When given the right inputs, we begin with fermented foods, sauerkraut, kefir, kimchi, raw yogurt, fermented coconut yogurt if dairy is not tolerated. These foods supply living organisms. They reseed the gut with lactobacilli and bifidobacteria, which crowd out harmful microbes and produce short-chain fatty acids that repair the intestinal lining. Think of them as biological reinforcements, arriving daily to restore order. A tablespoon or two at each meal is enough. This is not about volume, it is about regular inoculation. Next is fiber, but not just any fiber. We need probiotic fibers that specifically feed beneficial bacteria. Leeks, onions, garlic, asparagus, Jerusalem artichokes, dandelion greens, chicory root, apples, oats, chia, flax. These plant fibers ferment in the colon to produce butyrate and other short-chain fatty acids that nourish colon cells, calm inflammation, and strengthen the mucosal barrier. Antibiotics reduce butyrate-producing bacteria, so our strategy is to give them the substrates they need to come back online. Variety is key. Aim for 10 plant types a day, even in small amounts. Diversity equals resilience. Resistant starch plays a critical role as well. It reaches the colon intact and feeds beneficial microbes deeply in the intestinal tract. Cooled potatoes, cooled rice, green bananas, plantains, lentils, simple foods with profound biological effects. Start slowly if you are sensitive. The ecosystem may need time to catch up. Then polyphenols, the natural antioxidants in berries, leafy greens, olives, green tea, turmeric, ginger, rosemary, oregano, beetroot, red cabbage. Polyphenols act like selective fertilizer for good microbes and suppress the aggressive strains that flourish after antibiotic use. They also reduce oxidative stress in gut tissue and support the immune system. Color on your plate equals microbial fuel to rebuild the gut lining. We need collagen and glutamine, rich foods, bone broth, slow, cooked meats, eggs, fish skin, collagen powder if needed. These provide amino acids that regenerate the intestinal barrier, tighten cell junctions, and support mucus production. After antibiotics, there is often microscopic injury to the gut wall, and these proteins accelerate recovery, reducing permeability and inflammatory signaling. Healthy fats matter too. Omega-3 fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, anchovies, along with extra virgin olive oil, walnuts, and flax. Omega-3s calm the immune system, improve membrane integrity, and lower inflammatory cytokines that rise after gut dysbiosis. Combine this with anti-inflammatory herbs and spices, turmeric, ginger, garlic, basil, thyme. Food is chemistry. These compounds downregulate inflammation at a genetic level. All of this only works if we remove what damages. No sugar, no processed foods, no seed oils, no artificial sweeteners, no alcohol for these 14 days. These substances feed pathogenic microbes, damage mitochondria, increase endotox, enload, and slow mucosal repair. We are not depriving the body. We are clearing interference so biology can normalize. The body does not heal when constantly assaulted with irritants. The goal is not to follow a diet. The goal is to restore physiology. Dr. Myhill's principle is simple. Give the body good materials and remove bad ones. Medicine does not exist in tablets. True medicine exists in mitochondria, immune regulation, gut ecology, and the daily choices that create or destroy health. You are not suppressing symptoms. You are rebuilding the foundation that generates energy, immunity, and resilience. Every mouthful either feeds disease or fuels repair. For 14 days, every bite is an investment in microbial diversity, barrier strength, immune intelligence, and long-term metabolic stability. The gut is capable of rapid transformation, and this is how we support it, meal by meal, signal by signal, until normal function and vitality return. After antibiotics, many people rush to a probiotic supplement and assume that alone will restore their gut. It will not. Probiotics are not magic seeds. They are guests arriving to a damaged ecosystem. If you do not feed them, they leave. If you do not repair the soil, the gut lining, the mucus barrier, and the immune signaling, they cannot take hold. This is why so many people say probiotics don't work for me. Biology always works when inputs match physiology. Probiotics alone are insufficient. They must be paired with probiotic fibers, fermented foods, resistant starch, polyphenols, hydration, and rest so they can colonize, multiply, and rebuild the microbial architecture. Timing matters. Do not start probiotics the moment you swallow your last antibiotic pill. Antibiotic residues remain active for 48 to 72 hours, and if you take probiotics too soon, you may waste the dose or worse, feed dysbiosis. We wait 2 to 3 days, then begin the recolonization phase when the gut is clearing the antibiotic influence, but still open to microbial rebuilding. Meanwhile, during the antibiotic course, Saccharomyces boulardii, a beneficial yeast, can be taken safely because antibiotics do not kill it. It protects the gut, prevents opportunistic yeast overgrowth, and reduces antibiotic-associated diarrhea. We use 3 probiotic strategies post-antibiotics. The first is Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium, strains foundational organisms that support mucosal repair, immune balance, and lactic acid production, lowering gut pH to discourage pathogens. Lactobacillus rhamnosus L. Plantarum Bifidobacterium longum B. Breathe. These strains restore frontline defenses and help reduce inflammation, histamine reactions, and intestinal permeability. They also produce short-chain fatty acids and contribute to a healthy mucus layer. Without them, digestion remains compromised and immune tolerance stays low. The second pillar is Saccharomyces boulardii. It is unique, a probiotic yeast that binds toxins, prevents pathogenic bacteria from adhering to the gut wall, and encourages IgA production, which strengthens barrier immunity. It also reduces inflammation and helps maintain microbial balance while the gut flora restructures. Post-antibiotic bloating, loose stools, or yeast symptoms respond especially well to this organism because it keeps opportunistic microbes in check as beneficial bacteria return third. We bring in spore-based probiotics, soil-based organisms like Bacillus subtilis and Bacillus coagulans. These spores survive stomach acid, travel deeper into the gut, and germinate where they are needed. They support competitive exclusion, meaning they physically push out harmful bacteria and stimulate butyrate, producing bacteria to return. They also help break down food residues and reinforce the mucosal barrier. Soil-based organisms are particularly effective after antibiotics because they behave like pioneers rebuilding a damaged environment. Preparing the terrain for other microbes to flourish. Diversity is the goal. One strain is not enough. A single species probiotic is like planting only one crop in a field fragile and imbalanced. We want a broad spectrum so the microbiome regains its full functional intelligence. Rotating strains every few months can help maintain diversity, but in the first 14 days, consistency is key. The gut does not need variety every hour. It needs steady reinforcement, fed by probiotic fibers and supported by rest and hydration mechanistically. This approach works because probiotics do much more than add bacteria. They modulate immune response, reduce inflammatory cytokines, strengthen tight junction proteins, and increase mucus production, the protective gel that prevents toxins entering the bloodstream. They neutralize bacterial toxins, produce antimicrobial peptides, and encourage beneficial species to colonize. They are biochemical partners in repair, not passengers. But they require a healthy terrain to operate, which is why food leads and probiotics support. Not the other way around. Do not guess with probiotics. Understand the biology. Antibiotics wipe out microbial intelligence. Probiotics rebuild it through structured recolonization, immune training, and metabolic support. When done properly, timed correctly, paired with the right foods, and combined with rest and hydration, probiotics accelerate gut repair, restore immune competence, and help re-establish normal digestion, energy, and mood. You are not swallowing bacteria, you are rebuilding a living system designed to protect you for life. A healthy gut lining is a controlled barrier selectively allowing nutrients in while keeping pathogens, toxins, and undigested food particles out. After antibiotics, that barrier often becomes compromised. Think of the gut lining as a border wall. When antibiotics wipe out the sentries, the beneficial microbes gaps appear in the fence. Particles start slipping through that should never enter circulation, and the immune system launches an attack. This is the biology of leaky gut, intestinal permeability, immune hyperactivation, inflammatory cytokines, and a constant alarm state. The immune system spends its energy firefighting instead of protecting, rebuilding, or generating vitality. Mitochondria suffer next because when inflammation rises, energy production falls. You feel tired, foggy, puffy, reactive, and inflamed not because your body is weak, but because its border control has been breached and immune resources are diverted to crisis mode, rebuilding the gut lining is therefore not cosmetic. It is foundational medicine. We begin with L-glutamine, the primary fuel source for intestinal epithelial cells. Glutamine helps reseal the gaps between tight junctions and supports rapid turnover of gut lining cells. Think of it as the nutrient that gives your border wall the bricks to rebuild itself. Consistent intake through bone broth, eggs, meats, or supplemental form provides the raw material for epithelial repair, allowing the lining to tighten and reduce inflammatory leakage into the bloodstream collagen and its key amino acid glycine work in synergy. Collagen supports the mucosal layer that protects the gut surface, while glycine calms inflammation and assists detoxification. This reinforces the internal terrain, strengthening the physical barrier and reducing irritation. After antibiotics, microscopic abrasions along the intestinal surface are common. Collagen, broth, and slow cooked meats supply the scaffolding needed to repair those micro-injuries, restoring the smooth protective coating that microbes and immune cells rely on to communicate peacefully. Zinc enters as a regulator. It is essential for immune signaling, tissue repair, and maintaining tight junction proteins, the molecular rivets that keep gut cells sealed. Low zinc states correlate with increased intestinal permeability and slower wound healing. When we replenish zinc from foods like pumpkin seeds, seafood, and eggs, or supplement when necessary, we support proper immune activity, calm, intelligent defense rather than chaotic inflammatory reaction. Omega-3 fatty acids from oily fish help switch off excessive cytokine activity. They integrate into cell membranes, improving fluidity, reducing inflammatory signaling, and enabling immune cells to respond appropriately instead of aggressively. This lowers the immune burden, freeing energy for mitochondrial repair and cellular regeneration. When inflammation subsides, digestion improves, nutrient uptake increases, and metabolism steadies because the body is no longer operating in emergency mode. Vitamin D acts as an immune modulator and barrier protector. It reinforces tight junctions, reduces gut-driven autoimmunity risk, and supports antimicrobial peptides that defend the gut wall. Sunlight, responsible supplementation, or vitamin. In deer-rich foods replenish a nutrient nearly always depleted during illness and antibiotic treatment. Pairing vitamin D with magnesium and healthy fats increases its effectiveness, ensuring proper immune calibration and epithelial stability. Quercetin, a polyphenol found in onions, apples, capers, and green tea, stabilizes mast cells, supports tight junctions, and provides a natural anti-inflammatory shield. After antibiotics, mast cells often become overactive, contributing to histamine intolerance, skin flares, sinus issues, and gut reactivity. Quercetin helps quiet that overreaction, creating a calmer internal environment where healing can proceed without interruption. When we repair the gut lining, we do more than fix digestion. We reduce systemic inflammation, strengthen immunity, improve nutrient absorption, stabilize hormones, and free mitochondria from inflammatory pressure, so they can return to producing energy efficiently. This is why fatigue lifts, brain fog clears, and emotional resilience improves when the gut barrier is restored. You are not chasing symptoms, you are restoring fundamental structure. Biology never asks for complicated treatment, only for support, continuity, and the removal of obstacles. Repair the barrier, lower immune stress, and the body naturally shifts back into energy production, clarity, and metabolic balance. This is how we rebuild the gut after antibiotics, not with suppression, but with nourishment, structure, and intelligent biochemical inputs that return the system to order and strength. Antibiotic recovery is not just about what you swallow, it is about the internal environment you live in. Microbes thrive in a body that has rhythm, oxygenation, hydration, movement, rest, and calm nervous system tone. They struggle in bodies that are stressed, dehydrated, sedentary, and circadian disrupted. So lifestyle is not optional here. It is the biological terrain that decides whether beneficial bacteria survive and recolonize or whether opportunistic species take control. You are not just feeding microbes, you are creating the conditions where they want to live. Sunlight comes first. Morning light anchors your circadian rhythm, regulates immune signaling, increases serotonin for gut motility, and boosts vitamin D critical for tight junction integrity and immune intelligence. One simple rule: expose your eyes and skin to natural morning light for 10-20 minutes daily. The body reads sunlight like a biochemical instruction manual. It tells your metabolism when to produce energy, when to rest, and how to direct immunity. Without circadian alignment, gut repair is slower, inflammation stays higher, and sleep becomes fragmented. And sleep is where microbial recovery accelerates. Most movement is medicine for microbial motility. A 10-15-minute walk after meals improves digestion, reduces blood sugar spikes, prevents stagnation in the gut, and physically assists peristalsis. Beneficial microbes do not flourish in still water, they flourish in gentle flow. Every post-meal walk is a signal to your digestive system that says, move food, circulate blood, clear inflammation, oxygenate tissues. Sedentary behavior, by contrast, slows transit time, increases fermentation, and allows dysbiosis to persist. Movement restores rhythm, and rhythm restores microbial balance. Hydration is equally fundamental. The gut lining is a mucosal surface, and mucosal surfaces require water and electrolytes to maintain structure, transport nutrients, and flush waste. Minerals, sodium, potassium, magnesium are the electrical signals of life. Dehydration thickens mucus, slows nutrient absorption, and increases gut irritation. Balanced hydration thins mucus gently, supports lymphatic flow, and helps beneficial microbes access the nutrients and fibers you supply. A mineral-rich electrolyte drink once daily, plus filtered water throughout the day, keeps the digestive system supple, and functional breathing patterns directly influence gut repair. Nasal breathing increases nitric oxide, improves oxygen delivery, calms stress pathways, and stimulates the vagus nerve, the gut-brain communication highway. Mouth breathing triggers stress physiology, alters pH, and weakens digestion. Slow nasal breathing, especially diaphragmatic breathing, improves parasympathetic tone, the physiological state where digestion and microbial growth occur. The vagus nerve is the master switch for gut motility and immune modulation. When activated through humming, gargling, cold exposure, singing, or paced breathing, it signals safety, allowing the gut lining to heal and microbial communities to stabilize. Stress reduction is not emotional fluff, it is biology. Stress hormones thin the gut lining, reduce stomach acid, dysregulate immune response, and raise cortisol, which alters microbial diversity. When stress persists, microbes that thrive on distress multiply. When calm is restored, beneficial strains return. Practices that reduce sympathetic load, slow walking, meditation, journaling, time in nature directly support microbial recolonization by dialing down inflammatory signaling and freeing energy for healing. The calmer the host, the safer the ecosystem, and microbes flourish in safety. Not threat sleep is the reset button for immune regeneration. During deep sleep, regulatory T cells increase, inflammatory cytokines fall, and gut cells renew rapidly. The body uses sleep to clear metabolic waste through the glymphatic and lymphatic systems. If sleep is shallow, the immune system remains dysregulated, and microbial recovery slows dramatically. Protecting sleep timing, dark evenings, cool room, early meals, blue. Light reduction is an essential tool for gut healing. The deeper the sleep, the stronger the gut barrier and the more balanced the microbiome becomes. Every lifestyle habit is a biological signal. Sunlight says wake and regulate. Water says hydrate and repair. Movement says circulate and digest. Calm breathing says heal and restore. Sleep says regenerate and rebuild. These inputs together create a terrain where beneficial bacteria can settle, multiply, and integrate back into your internal network. Antibiotics may disrupt the garden, but lifestyle recultivates the soil. Microbes flourish in hosts who honor physiology. And when you support the body's natural rhythms, the gut returns to balance, energy rises, immunity strengthens, and your internal ecosystem becomes resilient again. The 14-day post-antibiotic gut rehabilitation protocol is a structured re-entry to normal physiology, not a diet and not a supplement program. It is a biological rebuild, reseeding microbes, feeding them, repairing the barrier, lowering immune load, and restoring mitochondrial output. Think of it as intensive care for your digestion, energy systems, and immune network. 2 weeks is enough time to shift from dysbiosis and permeability to stability and repair. If each day is built deliberately, we begin with the daily rhythm. Morning sunlight for 10 to 20 minutes to anchor the circadian clock and wake immune intelligence. Hydration first, a glass of mineral, rich water or electrolytes to rehydrate mucosal surfaces and support lymphatic flow. Breakfast focuses on protein and fat for mitochondrial fuel and gut stability. Eggs with spinach and olive oil, smoked salmon with avocado, kefir or yogurt if tolerated, chia pudding with berries and flax. Always include a fermented food, 1 to 2 tablespoons of sauerkraut, kimchi, or cultured yogurt. This is our first inoculation of the day. If taking probiotics, morning or early afternoon works well once you are 48-72 hours post antibiotics. And always pair with probiotic fiber like oats, apple, or inulin. Rich vegetables mid. Morning hydration, again water or herbal tea with ginger or peppermint. Glutamine can be taken here if you are supplementing, or simply ensure your breakfast included collagen, rich foods. Lunch follows the same template: protein, colorful vegetables, olive oil, fermented vegetables, herbs, and spices. Think chicken with steamed greens and turmeric, ginger dressing, or a sardine salad with onions, dill, and lemon. Resistant starch appears here: cooled potatoes or lentils to feed colonic bacteria. Walk for 10 to 15 minutes afterward to stimulate peristalsis and lower post. Meal inflammation bone broth is taken in the afternoon or evening, a mug to coat and nourish the gut lining. If supplementing, collagen and glutamine may pair here. Continue hydration. Add magnesium later in the day to support parasympathetic tone and sleep. Snacks, if needed, are simple: berries, nuts, coconut yogurt, olives, or a green shake with spinach, flax, and lemon. Avoid grazing. Structure meals to allow digestion cycles and microbial fermentation periods, as microbes thrive on rhythm. Dinner is light but nutrient. Dense soups, broths, slow. Cooked meats, fish, cooked vegetables with garlic and herbs. Again, fermented foods in small amounts. Avoid raw salads late in the evening to reduce digestive strain. Finish eating 2 to 3 hours before sleep to allow gut rest and deep overnight repair. Spices play an active role. Turmeric, ginger, oregano, garlic, rosemary, these suppress pathogenic microbes and reduce inflammatory signaling. A calm nervous system enhances digestion, so downshift after dinner. Nasal breathing, gentle stretching, or time outdoors to support melatonin. In release, probiotic timing is straightforward. Begin 48-72 hours after the final antibiotic dose. Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium species in the morning or midday with food. Saccharomyces boulardii, I may be continued during and after antibiotics. Spore-based probiotics taken with meals to help colonization. Probiotics arrive through plants at every meal. Leeks, garlic, onions, asparagus, apples, oats, chia, flax. Resistant starch once daily. Polyphenols throughout berries, leafy greens, green tea, herbs. Hydration steady, electrolytes once per day. Salt food generously unless medically contraindicated. Minerals are not optional for mucosal stability, and nerve signaling sleep is mandated 7 to 9 hours in darkness, with screens off at least an hour before bed. Morning sunlight resets, evening dim light signals repair mode. Breathing through the nose, slow exhalation, humming or gargling to activate the vagus nerve, all simple signals that tell the gut it is safe to heal. Stress is inflammation, calm is repair. Each night, the gut lining renews and microbes reorganize. Protect that window fiercely across these 14 days. Most will feel digestion stabilizing, bloating reducing, stools normalizing, energy rising, brain fog clearing, and mood lifting. Immune resilience increases because inflammatory load drops and regulatory T cells recalibrate. When inflammation falls, water retention decreases, and early fat loss may appear not because you are dieting, but because the body is no longer fighting itself. This is not weight loss through deprivation. This is metabolism reclaiming its efficiency. The philosophy is simple. Remove irritants, supply raw materials, restore rhythm, and energy returns because mitochondria and microbes recover. The body is not confused or broken, it is adaptive. When you give it what it needs and stop what harms it, repair is automatic. You are not forcing healing, you are allowing it. 2 weeks of biological intelligence applied consistently can reset gut function, immune tone, and metabolic clarity, the foundation upon which long-term health builds.